This is good.
Okay. Just waiting for the recording to start. There it is. It's now recording. We're on. Martin,
Hello.
we're on. Hooray. Okay, so it's Martin, it's Nick, and it's Kennington Grove in Doncaster that we're assessing today. With that in mind, let's do screen share and let's have a look and see what we can see. The very first thing is I'll go into the floor plan and we can see it's, well, according to this, it's 68.3 square meters. But Martin, you've checked out the EPC already.
Yeah, and it said it's 80.
Yeah, so it's quite a large size. I suppose it's because EPC is factoring in the conservatory, whereas these people doing this floor plan aren't, I suspect.
Yeah, I guess the same.
Because a conservatory isn't really part of the main house. It's just a kind of lightweight extension. Anyway, right. Nice front yard, all very pleasant. Lots of evergreen bushes there, I see. Concrete tiles, which I like, even though they're not good looking, they last because they don't tend to crack. And if they do, they're quite easy to replace. You just slot a new one in. We've got a fancy fireplace with a gas fire, I suspect, because if it was a natural, like proper coal hearth, it just would not be that tidy. And therefore it's a gas one. Nice, expensive to run these days.
Yeah, they said that the boiler and radiators mean gas.
Yeah, and that correlates with all of this. So, right, so that'll be a working chimney, interestingly enough. Fancy cornicing, textured roof ceiling. Because this is a relatively modern house, my guess is early 1990s, late 80s. And I think, did you corroborate that earlier? I think you did.
Yeah,
so,
90, between 90 23.
Yeah.
29, sorry. It should be around 1920s. I guess.
Not 1920, but 1990s, because this is a modern build, or relatively modern build. So they have an unhelpful audio tour here. I just want to see the clear pictures, you see. Okay, conservatory is in a nice condition. The issue with conservatories, they get too hot in summer, too cold in winter, and that's about it. But at, let's say, with 5 months of the year, they're perfect. So nice enough, not necessarily a very usable space, but the good thing with these more modern floor plans are they're better designed. So we have like the kitchen door open there, and it's kind of semi-open plan. So, and therefore I think it works fairly well. And reasonably good spec on this. The windows look like they're UPVC, but we need to have a closer look. The thing about properties of this age is that if it's wooden frames,
full double glazed,
then yeah. I think it's UPVC, like brown UPVC window frames rather than wooden ones. Wooden ones for a property this age is probably trouble because they probably need a lot of maintenance. And let's have a look at the videos. And this is where I have to just kind of shuffle around a little bit. I've downloaded these and here we are. So I'm going to play the first one. Nice laminate flooring. This property needs little to no work unless you don't like the color. You can see they've got a feature color on the back wall and it's kind of a grey everywhere else. Again, pleasant enough. Not unpleasant. And in good order as well. The property will not have damp because it's a modern property with proper damp-proof coursing. So you don't have issues with thermal inefficiency, damp and all of that. Again, another reason I like a relatively modern property. I class a modern property as anything from really 1985 onwards. What a cute dog. It's a boxer, I think. Oh, trouble is he just wants attention, and if you let the dog in whilst they're doing the videos, it's just difficult. So anyway, we've got the double glazed between the exterior and interiors, and therefore in the winter you just close that up and use this space here. All right, so far so good. Nice staircase with the balustrades all meeting building regs. Very nice fitted furniture that is UPVC double glazing. Great. So we don't have any aggravation or renovation issues with window frames. You've got the I can't quite tell if these are the really cheapest pressed doors. They might well be. They're usually quite lightweight and unpleasant, but they're okay. And that bathroom looked fine to me. This all looks okay. Double glazing looks okay. Lots of kind of swishing around. We do ask them to A, upload high resolution, B, do landscape, so portrait. Obviously this viewer didn't read the instructions. Okay, and let's have a look at the next one.
And you're right, this property should be 60 meters squares without extension.
Good. Not good that I'm right. That's not a problem. But I'm glad that we got the sizing right.
No, the problem is when you at the postal, it's DN12 1FX, but basically that's not the correct postal is. So I fixed it. So
okay. Oh, I remember you talking about this earlier. Yeah, didn't we have this earlier? There was some issue. Anyway, right. We got mock Tudor. We've got this. I think it looks okay. It's probably had wood treatment. It certainly looks okay from here. I would say this is a property in good solid condition that needs no work to speak of. And as a buy-to-let landlord, the game is to spend the least amount of money you can on renovation and just rent it out quick. And this one is good to go.
Yeah.
All right, let's have a look at a few other little things. I'm just curious about the street view to see if we can see anything here, just in case before we go. I like Google Street View. It's very detailed. And that black line at the bottom, that's a damp-proof course. That's what I like. Okay, I'm pretty sure that is, I don't see it there, but it may be on a different level. Let's just, sorry, I'm being a bit obsessive here. Yeah, no, that maybe it's a cable, but okay, whatever. It looks like a damp-proof course because damp-proof courses are generally, see, that looks like it. Okay, it's either a cable or a damp-proof course. I don't know which, but typically it's a sheet of plastic, thick plastic that sits on top of the foundation course of bricks, stops any moisture passing through into the rest of the house. Anyway, nice little estate, nice little spot. Don't know what's going on there. I suppose that'll turn into new builds someday. All right, let's get into capital growth, demographics, and all of that lovely stuff. This is kind of interesting because it is, I'll make it bigger for you. It is quite low-end demographic here, but you don't have that much social rented. And I think that's because you've got a lot of older terraced houses along here, and they were probably just economy houses. But we're in the better part of town. This is where the nice people live. You know, the ones with the nice cars, the nice mortgages, nice. And they are mainly average, so they're middle-aged people, I would say, families, middle-aged, that kind of thing, not elderly. Quite a lot of private rented, borderline okay. I think if you went up to 25%, not so okay. But obviously lots of these properties were bought up for buy-to-let. And if you can see Mickey the dog, he's here. You probably can't, but I got a dog. He's called Mickey. He wants attention. But you're getting my attention, not you, Mickey. Sorry, mate. All right. So the crime is very low. That's what we like. This is just a very nice, quiet little area. There's a lot of industrial here. It looks like some kind of big, not warehousing, but distribution center, I would say. However, our property is somewhere over here, isn't it? Where is it?
So I will. I can show you later.
Oh, actually, we just look at the map. I got the map. We can look at the map. Oh, that's okay. We're quite far away. We're fine.
Yeah.
And this isn't like a open cast mine or anything like that. It's just a big yard with some trucks wandering around, moving stuff about. So it's fine for that. Okay, now let's look at capital growth. One of my favorite topics. And the reason, if you've ever watched any of these videos, the reason I care about capital growth is because we're in this game to make money, and we make money by owning assets which go up ahead of inflation, ideally. All right, let's have a look and see what's going on here. This is a relatively high churn area. The metric is number of sales per thousand people per year. And it's relatively, as I say, fairly high churn, and that's okay. It just means there's always a flow of properties coming on and so on. And from a growth point of view, it did quite well. It grew 67%. So the way I analyze this is, if this number is less than half this number, you're all good. So in other words, if I have something that goes from 100 to 200, it grows 50%. And no, 100%, I'm sorry. And if it declines by 50%, then you've lost all your gains. And so these are all inflation adjusted. And the fact is that this moved up a step in the last after the last crash, so that's good. And the prices are very sensible around here, as we see. And what did you want to say, Martin?
Yeah, that I guess all of those in the past was all house or it's built, so and it's improving. It's not really far away.
Yeah. You can see a huge price jump here, but everything more or less held on after 2013. So it's actually quite good, relatively speaking. And you expect a decline in a crash. Anyway, right, moving on. It's got some headroom here. In other words, we're still below or at, we're probably at the same levels as 2008 in terms of price. But as I'll show you in a second, that's not the whole story. There's headroom left here. And we can see from 2013 to 21, it only grew 18%. And then from 21 to 18 to 21, 16%. So there's been really strong growth here. And I would say accelerated growth, actually. And you can see it through this whole little patch, which is good. These are all nice houses. Not all, but mostly nice houses, and you've got schools as well, which is quite important. Got nice primary schools and all that stuff. I want to add
that the property I want to add the properties here. The old houses are selling around 60, 70, 80, 90. Okay, they're really cheap, but they're really bad. They're really old and they're not really nice. So you can find a lot of cheaper properties around. And the new builds is coming around, where you can see on the map that there's a lot of new builds coming. I will show later on. So
yeah. So what's interesting? Okay, so there's a few things going on here. Whenever one looks at capital growth, one has to just take a balanced view. Now you might go, "Wow, 28%! It must be amazing." No. And the reason is because there's an awful lot of local authority housing around here. And whenever the market starts to get not toppy, but strong, people obviously think, oh, it's time to cash out. And so they buy the property at a great discount from local authority and resell. So what I'm interested in are areas with similar characteristics, and broadly, I'm seeing very strong capital growth. Now, if I show you this, I think the area was DN2, wasn't it?
No, DN12.
Thank you.
And I want to add that this property last sold was 2020 in August for 115. So almost 2 years ago.
Okay.
And before, yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I just want to have a quick look at that sales history. Oh, interesting. So, okay.
1997 is built this property, correctly.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, all right. Now, I just want to do a quick explainer on this capital growth stuff. It gets a bit boring for Martin because he's heard it all so many times before, but I'll just do my best to be quick. Markets work in cycles. This is 1845. This is today. Red arrow means a big peak. Here's a little peak in World War I. This is number 10 if you include that little peak. I'll say number 9 to be conservative. But probability of such a thing happening 9 times in the last 170 years means that there are property cycles, and we are in the boom phase of the current cycle. We're probably about 25% in. That means we've probably got about 3 years left. And how do I know this? Well, one indicator is affordability. So you remember I said this property is slightly below or at the 2008 levels. That doesn't mean the whole story. The whole story is, what about the affordability? And every time you have a peak, you have 3 or 4 years of people paying more money out on mortgages because for whatever reason. And now we're entering into that 3 or 4 year phase. Then you have a crash and essentially a kind of realignment. And it's a great metric. So assuming interest rates don't go crazy, then we're good. So what about interest rates? Well, bit of macroeconomics. If you've seen all this before, you learn by repetition. So here's the long-term story back to 1900, and we'll just have both of these graphs here, and here's the public debt, government debt from 1900. When the First World War occurred, lots of debt maintenance costs, not good. Then lots and lots of debt, and then gradually declines. And what happened was in 1915 during the war, low interest rates, relatively speaking, lots of government debt. Coincidence? No. Second World War, going from 1935, lots of government debt. They tried to wash it down and lots of inflation. The Second World War, more inflation, lots of debt, low interest rates. Where are we now? Well, let's go, actually I'll go into the 70s. Lots of private debt, not much government debt, high inflation, high interest rates, all the way up to like 15%, that kind of thing. And then you had a 15% spike in 1990, which was catastrophic. Government realized that was a bad idea, and they haven't done it since. Now we have lots of public debt accumulating due to COVID and numerous other issues. I expect interest rates to remain relatively low for at least another 5 years, or until the economy just starts to wake up. Now, we could end up with Japanese stagflation, hopefully not. Okay, the renovation costs on this property, I don't think they're going to be much. I think it is literally some painting and decorating to your taste or to the tenant's taste. Question is, does a tenant really care about blue walls? I don't think so. Not really. And therefore, I would be inclined to more or less not touch this thing. I don't think it needs any work to speak of. And when you factor in the cost of trades and the cost of renovation, renovations make sense if you have a good justification around value uplift or intense competition to get the property, whatever. Anyway, I think this needs very little work. Over to you, Martin.
Yeah. My internet connection get dropped.
I noticed it was a bit patchy, yes.
Sorry about this. So I will speak about the location. It's not far away from the central of Doncaster. You don't have trains or so, but you have with the car you're 15 minutes, with the transport you're around 30 minutes, with the bus, direct bus station, the bus route. So that's okay. About the other stuffs, when you zoom in, you have like small markets. You have here larger supermarkets. You have gas station, which is always good. 24 hours market. So yeah, that's really nice. Well, about the location, the property, it's already have extension. It's two parkings private, which is always nice. So yeah, this is nothing serious. It's industrial zone, but you will not hear a noise because you are far away. The entrance is there, and you're here.
Yeah.
So
and it's not that noisy either. It's just forklift trucks and things like that mooching around. So it's fine.
It's nothing like, and also I want to add, all of these are new building coming. So if this area wasn't good, nobody will have these huge builds coming in. So.
You think about the amount of investment developer places, they have to make sure they're going to get their money back and make a good profit. Yeah. So new build is such a good sign.
Yeah, and also I just want to add that this part is little bit more crimey, and the location, the price is a little bit lower, but that's because, and also the market for renting is not really nice. So, but this is totally different area, totally new build. So, and you're far away from that, so there is no any issues.
I really like this house. I'd have this house.
Yeah.
I'm not going to compete with you. I'm not in the market right now, but if I was, I would be making an offer on this property for sure.
And here
I can see house.
I can see 3 coal mining entrance, and I found them. So you can see one is here, one is here, one is there, or it's one of
those. You're such a sleuth. Well done, Mr. Detective.
So basically,
funny. Wow. Okay, you can see they're marked with little bollards or whatever.
Yeah. So basically, you're far away. It's more than 20 meters, so you don't need to be worried about it. So based on that, everything is 56 meters square. It's tiny, but without extension. So the EPC is really good, 65. You don't need to worry. They said that you need to change the boiler, but I will not. I guess depends. We need to see from. Did we have photos or so from the boiler?
Yeah, I don't remember seeing the boiler. Actually, this Viewer video was quite fast paced, to use a word.
Okay, so I want to add the properties around, like 2-bed, semi-detached house, 135, 140, 140. This 45, as I said, like the old, but this is abandoned, as you can see. So no, this is not. This is old house. Just something. Yep. As you can see, this also old. Yeah, so 125, 125. 135, 145, 120, 130. So the prices are 135, 125, 125, 125, 120. Depends. But this we go in beginning of 2021, so the price was lower. So 135 is correct price. I think it will rent at least 675. So I just want to add, it will rent for 700. But 675 by 12, and if you divide by the asking price, that's 6% of yield. Yep, which is not great for Doncaster, but it's great in terms that you don't need to worry to just purchase, rent.
Exactly, it's just a very low maintenance.
Yeah, in this term, it's good. The other way around is like in Doncaster the yield is better, like 6.5 up to 7. But the problem with that, you will have old house and you need to have hassle and renovation and so on, and with inflation and with the busy workers, so builders you will have struggle. So, and this is like low maintenance, just buy it, rent it out, and don't do nothing. And I don't think you need to pay like more than 140, because the market in Doncaster is not super hot. Maybe when you can take it around asking price, or maybe even lower than the asking. I'm not sure. We need to check, and we will update you.
Yeah, just on that, I'm just looking at the postcode district data. You're right. It's not especially hot because it's outside of main Doncaster.
Yeah.
And
but it will rent.
It will. And the reason this property works is because it's the kind of house that somebody who drives a car or a family with 2 cars will live, and their modality is driving cars. So it makes no difference if they're in downtown Doncaster with a 3-minute walk to the railway station. It doesn't really change a whole lot because their lives will be based on car travel. All right, should we score then?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I do like scores in the doors. It always interests me. So this is Dundas Road, yeah?
Kennington.
Kennington. Oh, there it is. Got Kennington Road. All right, let me just move this around. There we go. Okay, we've got to do this other one in a minute. All right, condition. Actually, very nice. 4.2 from me.
No, I will go 4.7. So 4.5 in the middle, because it's not the perfect, but for renting out it's really nice. New house.
Yeah, exactly. It's
the location
fundamentally sound.
Location not 3.8, 3.7. It's not the perfect location.
Area's nice. I like the area. It's just nice.
Yeah, the area around is really nice. The older house on the other side of the main road who connect to Doncaster, the area there is not good, but here it's really nice. Crime is low, demographics are nice. Capital
growth is, in my opinion, is very interesting for Doncaster in that general area. And I think I give it a 4 on capital growth, because I think as the property cycle proceeds, people will look for value in Doncaster. Well, here we are. We're talking about Doncaster, and there's some very nice housing stock around there. I like it. All right, sell time 3.5, but it's not a very important metric, as you see, because we've downrated it. And price, well, it's always a difficult one. I never quite know what to do about this metric, but I would say it's sensibly priced, and therefore I give it a 4 on price based on what you're saying, Martin. And rent time, it'll rent real quick. And yield is good.
But for Doncaster, it's not. I will give it lower. I will give 3.8. But it's just because it's a new house, so it's good, but it's still not the best.
It gets above average. It's just a touch under 4. 4 is just a slightly arbitrary number that we use, but it's good. I like this property. Genuinely, I like it. I like the price. I like the quality of the property. I like the nice area. It works for me on a lot of levels. What's your opinion?
My opinion is really nice. The property is new, less hassle, ready to rent. Don't do anything, rent it out, wait to be refinanced after 5 years or 3, depends, and that's it. I hope you will not have any hassle with this property. That's the good thing of it.
And also, just to add to this, the thing about properties like this, which are in smaller urban conurbations around tier 2 cities, so let's say Manchester, London, Birmingham, Leeds, etc., tier 1, they're the big cities of the country. Doncaster, the second level down, And then you've got these little satellite towns that a lot of people just don't pay attention to. But the fact is, they'll have a healthy rental market. They're good property stock. They'll go up in value because they're nice. They're fundamentally nice. And also the local economy in Doncaster seems to be reasonably good. And it's not too crazy. So at least you've got a chance of buying a good quality asset. Anyway, that's me. I'm all over this. I really like this. Not all over it. That's an American phrase saying I'm done on it.
Yeah.
I think it's a great property. I really like it. All right. Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.